Am I the a-hole for how I convinced my dad to let me live somewhere else when my step-monster is dying? Some background details. Mom died when I was 4 in a really sudden way. Dad had started dating again within a year and remarried within a couple of years. When step-monster moved in, she boxed up photos of my mom, her clothes, and her keepsakes and tossed them out. They were saved by my aunt, who saw them outside our house. Dad supported step-monster in her ban of mom being mentioned in the house. We moved a while after the wedding because step-monster didn't want my mom's family in my life, and my dad supported her wish. She didn't want them in my life to connect me to mom because she felt it would keep me from calling her mom. My grandparents got grandparents' visitation even though we lived in different states, and I still saw them at my aunts, uncles, and other family on mom's side. It wasn't a lot, but I saw them. My dad and step-monster had some kids together who are still really young now. I never forgave my dad or step-monster for everything that happened, and I always had a bad relationship with them. Even if she did try to be a good mom, I never respected or appreciated her or respected him. Moving on to the post. My step-monster got sick months ago and was diagnosed with the kind of cancer they can't cure. She and my dad took the news badly, and she was upset and worried about how she'd be remembered and what their kids would do and whether they'd really remember her. I told my dad I wanted to move out, and he told me I was needed now more than ever, and I'd regret it if I moved. I told my dad unless he wanted me to taunt step-monster about the next wife boxing her up and tossing her in the garbage, he would let me go. This happened months ago, by the way. Dad acted like he was shocked I'd think about doing it, and I reminded him it's what they did. I said I would gladly make her last weeks or months miserable and fill her with the idea that she'll be erased once she's gone and her kids won't be allowed to remember her. I said it's what she deserved. My dad gave in, and he let me move to my grandparents. There were 2 times I thought he'd chicken out, so I even had a draft text saved where I taunted step-monster about what was to come. I only deleted it when I was finally living with my grandparents. My dad thought I'd be back within a few weeks, but I'm planning to stay. He even gave my grandparents permission to register me for high school here, so I'm settled and staying. I told him that. He was like, WTF. Then he asked about saying goodbye, and I told him I wasn't interested. His wife texted and called too, but I ignore her. I know I would say the awful stuff if I replied or spoke to her. I really don't want to hear her cry and say she loves me, when she's just selfish and maybe realizes now what a cruel bee she was. A few nights ago, my dad chewed me out over text for how I went about all this, and he told me I was cruel and that to taunt a dying woman is 1,000,000 times worse than what she did. I don't feel bad about it, and I'm glad I'm not around to hear all the sympathy and pity for her because I don't feel any. Or for my dad. But even the fact I still have the urge to write the stuff I threatened to makes me wonder if I'm the a-hole for how I got what I wanted, because I know my dad is protecting his wife and doesn't like any of this. And I know I added stress to an already stressful situation. Am I the a-hole? She must really be thinking those thoughts already. She must know for sure that, in less than a year, your father will have replaced her and erased her memory. Those thoughts must torment her every minute of every day. What's happening to her is what some call poetic justice. I want this to be true so bad. She deserves to be tormented by what she did when she's facing the very same thing Mom did. Only Mom was just gone without warning one day, so she never had to worry about it. Step-monster has months to think about it. A comment below suggests you seek therapy, and you really should consider it. You've been through things no child should have to go through. I also recommend you talk to your grandparents and seek legal advice, because once your stepmother dies, your father will force you to move back in with him, especially since he'll need help with your younger siblings. My grandparents are looking into therapy for me. They want to find a good fit for me, and not just send me to any therapist. Plus, waiting lists are long. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving a crap that my kids have more than their step and half siblings at their mom's house? My ex-wife and I, both in our 30s, had a very bitter divorce. She cheated on me, tried to make me take responsibility for a child who was unlikely to be mine, had an abortion. After she realized I would DNA test that child and would end my parental responsibility if I wasn't the father, then she accused me of making her miscarry. She tried to ask for alimony and child support when alimony was nowhere near entering the picture. She did get some child support, but we shared 50-50 of our 2 sons, so it was never as much as she was hoping for. She remarried and became a stepmother and a mother again. The other children are all over the place in age. Our sons are 9 and 11. Our sons have more than their step and half siblings because I can provide these things for them. We go places my ex-wife and her husband cannot afford. They can do as many activities as they want, as long as they actually want to do them. And I happily pay for that. My kids have a gaming room at my house. They get nice birthday parties with their friends, the works. My ex-wife and her husband cannot afford this, and in the last year they have been more vocal about it because the children in their home feel bad. My ex-wife wanted me to include the other children in the experiences I give my kids and the parties I throw for them. But we do everything separate, and I have responded via our co-parenting that it is better that we continue doing things separate and that I am not obligated to provide for their children in any way. This pressure from her has increased since the summer, when the kids and I did an extended Disney vacation, and then they got a second vacation that included my parents, siblings, and their families. My ex-wife said it's disgusting that I would let the disparity continue to grow, and that I show no concern for the other children involved. As far as I'm concerned, they are not my children and therefore not my responsibility, and my sons don't want to include them. But I am prepared to be wrong if that's what the consensus is, because children are involved. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your only obligation is to your own children. Teach them to be humble and not rub it in the siblings' faces. That doesn't mean they can't talk about what they have or do with you. It means don't brag and be jerks about it. You're not responsible for her other kids or their feelings. 100%. The only thing I'll add is this: offer to become the primary custodian of your boys. That way, you effectively remove the issue of her other kids' front seat view. It's not your fault nor that of your boys that she and her current husband can't provide for their kids in the same way. Perhaps it's time your boys became visitors at mom's house. Be aware of parent alienation. She likely is bad-mouthing you to your sons. While you absolutely shouldn't be providing for your son's step and half-siblings, I would suggest you ensure they do not rub their advantages provided by you in the siblings' face. These kids aren't your responsibility, but bringing your sons up to be decent adults means teaching them not to feel superior due to financial reasons. My kids definitely don't feel superior, and I make sure they know that we are privileged to have what we do. We volunteer together a couple of times a month, and we donate old stuff whenever we're finished with it and don't want to save it. I want my kids to be good people and not just entitled. The ex definitely shouldn't be asking for you to contribute financially to her new family in any way, including allowing her new kids to tag along on vacations. I do wonder if the step and half siblings are invited to your kids' birthday parties. They're not invited to the parties I throw for my kids' birthdays. They are to the parties my ex throws. I'm curious, OP, do you know how the kids get along with each other? If they really enjoy being with each other, have they ever asked you to include them? They're not very close and not friends. My sons have never asked to include them either, and have chosen not to when they get the chance to bring someone or someone's with them to things. Next story. Am I the a-hole for exposing my dad's wife for her lies on social media about being the primary parent for me and my siblings? A few months ago, I, 17 male, found out my dad's wife has a social media account where she talks about being a custodial stepmom who was crapped on by the kids she raised and their birth giver, because all the kids ran to their birth giver as teens and don't appreciate her for anything she did. She had a whole story about raising us since we were toddlers and how dad was the custodial parent when she met him. And she became a stay-at-home mom and treated all her kids, both bio and step, the same. She claimed we never even knew what our birth giver looked like until I was 13 and found her online. She posted about how much that hurt her when she found out I looked up the woman who gave birth to us and abandoned us, her words FYI. And she'd post all these Q&As where she would help other step-parents be the best custodial parents they could be. She gave out some details about us and shared a photo of my younger brother, 14, without his face blurred. Then she told this really long-winded and detailed story about us running away one day and finding out we ran away to our birth giver's house and how we were brought back. But it happened 3 more times until the courts became involved and decided it would be easier to let us live with our birth giver. This is all a load of BS. Our parents shared custody of us our whole lives, and Mom had us more because Dad worked out of town for like 5 days a month, so he had to give Mom that time when he wasn't around. My dad's wife has never ever been the primary parent for us. Even when Dad was at work and she was at home, we didn't spend a lot of time with her, and she was never responsible for doing everything like she claimed. We never had a good relationship with her either, but after finding out about her page, I was more annoyed by her than ever before. She always hated Mom and liked trying to start things over BS stuff like the fact Mom didn't just let us stay with Dad's wife when Dad was out of town for 5 days. Or the fact she expected Mom to stop talking to her man, even through their co-parenting app. I didn't do anything when I first found the page. I basically went through a bunch of videos, saved them, and showed my mom. Then she did a live and I started commenting and calling her out for her lies and exposed her for being a fraud about everything. I even made my page public so people could see photos of me and Mom throughout my childhood. It pissed my dad's wife off so bad that she threatened to harm my mom, and so Mom called the police. My dad wanted to know what was going on, and he defended the videos when I showed them to him. He said his wife harmed nobody, and he said she talked about loving me and my siblings, so what was the big deal? Ever since the whole thing went down, me and my siblings have lived with Mom. But my dad's wife said I had no right to intrude on her private space. It was a public account, and public humiliation is abusive. And that's what I did to her. She said it was for spite and not for a good reason. I didn't even waste my time trying to explain why she was a hypocrite. But my dad's sister and brother-in-law are taking Dad and his wife's side. They said I did it to hurt and humiliate her, and I was childish in how I handled it. They said a private talk would have been wiser. I think it's crazy, but I figure it wouldn't hurt to ask, am I the a-hole for what I did? Not the a-hole for exposing her lies. I'd go no contact with her and everyone defending this absolutely bonkers attention-seeking behavior. There are loads of great step-parents out there, but she isn't one of them. You didn't humiliate her. She did that to herself. Anyone defending her is just as bizarre as she is. Honestly, this is a FAFO moment for her. She put herself in the position for your mom to prove her lies were just lies. Not the a-hole, but this was her view of how she helped raise you. Every story has 3 sides, yours, theirs, and the truth. You're not the a-hole, but it definitely could have been handled better. I wish people were kinder to each other. That's BS. She lied repeatedly about being a custodial step-parent and about my dad having custody and Mom never seeing us. Those are proven lies. She doesn't get to rewrite stuff to fit the view she wishes were true. Why would I be kind after that? She disrespected my mom publicly in so many videos. Not the a-hole. She lied in public. She smeared your mother in public. She shared your brother's face in public. She does not get the courtesy of a private chat. What was the downfall with her followers? She got unfollowed by some people, and others were demanding she explain. She deleted her account or went like full-on private with it, but I think she deleted it. Last story. Am I the a-hole for siding with my ex-brother-in-law over my sister and family? 7 years ago, my sister married one of my best and closest friends. He was a genuinely good guy, and I was happy for my sister for being with such a good man. 2 years ago, he caught her cheating with a man in their bed. It absolutely destroyed him, and she came at him hard in the divorce. I was disgusted by her and by my entire family for supporting her. She ended up taking the house and most of his money, and she moved her affair partner in before the divorce was even finalized. I helped him out and even let him stay with me and my wife for a couple of months to rest and to save some money before going straight into renting after basically being robbed. I told him in no way I'm with my sister and family, and he said he knows and that he still loves me like a brother. That absolutely angered my entire family, and they all cut me off. Now, many months later, they're back because apparently my sister is getting married to her affair partner and they want me back. But first I have to apologize to her partner and my family for siding with my brother-in-law. I laughed in their face and turned them down. Now they're all back and they will not let this go. They're really big on public image, and them having a wedding without me there would be a disgrace. Like my sister marrying her affair partner, who she cheated with on her husband, isn't disgraceful enough. I want nothing to do with them or this wedding. My wife says I should just pretend to forgive them and go to this wedding, because our kids would be sad to miss out and they can't be away from their grandparents forever. I disagree, and I think they don't need disgusting people like that in their lives, but she just would not drop this. What should I do here? You do what you think is best. They were quick to turn you into a bad guy and abandon you when you stood up for your friend who was cheated on by your sister. If you still feel that way, go with your gut. Family does not surpass morality. Exactly. If family only counts when you're forced to ignore their hypocrisy, then it's meaningless. Better to stand by someone loyal than cave to people who abandoned you the moment it didn't suit them. She wants you to apologize to her affair partner? Yeah, that's a no. Or do what your wife says. Make peace, go to the wedding, then nuke them for being cheaters. I didn't really want to come to this wedding because they're cheaters, but family, right? That's actually a pretty good idea, not gonna lie. Give a toast and destroy them at their wedding. I agree wholeheartedly, but with a twist. If you really want to go no contact, tell the family you cannot wait to attend sister's wedding, so you will have an opportunity to tell every single person there how your sister's faithful husband caught the happy couple in bed together. That since they are such liars and disreputable people, you know this marriage will be short-lived. Because they will be cheating on each other soon if they are not already, because cheaters are gonna cheat. That you are going to get every little detail from your former brother-in-law about the divorce and her deception and cannot wait to share with everyone. You'll let everyone know with a wink that all your family members supporting the cheating couple must mean they are all cheaters too, because people of good moral character do not support adulterers. And rub your hands together like an evil genius and say, "This is going to be so fun." I'll bet they will leave you alone. If all they're worried about is public image, make a preemptive strike. Find a public forum, maybe social media, and write out a quick message explaining why you won't be attending this wedding. Shame them publicly. Make a big deal out of it. There's no pretending they're not terrible people with that out there. Granted, this will burn a lot of bridges, but you already seem to be at that point. I'd clear it with the wife first, at least. These types of people don't seem to have the morals to be good influences for your children anyway. I vote for scorched earth, not the a-hole.